During every parlay, our guest will play some Lego with us. Together, all ecosystem players will have co-created this Lego pirate ship. Welcome back, everybody. Today we have Kurt from VLAIO. Welcome.
Welcome. Hi.
Kurt, if you can tell us a little bit about what you do and about yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm a director at Flemish Innovation and Entrepreneurship from a team that gives advice to companies, startups and companies. As an agency, we promote a lot the entrepreneurship in Flanders and also innovation, and our team of advisors has a quite important role as a kind of front office for the agency to support companies in their ambitions.
So you do the whole of region, the whole of the Flanders region, but at which stage of a company's trajectory is it most interesting for them to reach out to you?
Well, as soon as possible, I would say, because I've seen the last years more and more we support also startups and that are really starting up their company, and also mature companies as SMEs. But it's very important in case that a startup or also an SME has a new business case that they come as soon as possible to us, because especially regarding grants, for instance, it's important to ask them as soon as possible.
So it's not really quick fixes that you give, but more entrenched solutions, and that's why it would be nice to have them for a longer period of time.
For sure. Our team is called Team Bedrijfsrijkdom, which means in English strategic. So we really want to go along with the company a certain time during their travel towards realizing their business case. And during that travel, we also connect in different ways, as I say, by giving them grants, but also by connecting to other partners in the ecosystem.
That comes to my next question, the problems. When these companies fail, there must be some common reasons for this failure.
Yeah.
What are they?
Well, for sure, most of the time it's not the technological point of the business case, it's most of the time it's the business side. So what we see, for instance, with technical young entrepreneurs is that they often overestimate market, that the product market fit is not really good because sometimes they do not see the alternatives that customers use, and they underestimate also the barrier, the absorption barrier for new solutions. I think maybe to add is what we also see is that, for instance, sales cycles are underestimated. So we work together a lot with technological companies, and they have a good solution most of the time. The solution is perfectly, but if they hadn't go to corporates, you speak about sales cycles from 6 months to 1 year, and even higher. And then they get out of cash flow, and then the problems start also.
And that's actually one of the areas that VLAIO is trying to focus on, the sales cycle. By the buy-in we have from the different corporates, our hope is this 18-month sales cycle, we can shrink it down to 3 months, because also the proof of concepts are pre-financed by the funding that we give in. So that's a singular problem that we're trying to solve.
I think that can be a very high added value for many startups, because, as I say, most of the time they do not see really the length of the sales cycle, and it's also not so easy as a young startup to enter to overcome barriers towards the corporates. So if an accelerator as yours can help, it will be very helpful.
Well, what we realized is if the corporate doesn't know you by June, there's no chance that they're going to even sign you up for the 6 months left of this year, but also the 12 months left of next year, because it's just going to be in the budget after that that you have a chance.
For sure.
And this they don't understand or realize or know.
But you have the experience, but many of the young startups don't have that experience, and so when you don't know it, you calculate your cash flow in the wrong way, of course, and then you come into a problem.
You get these clicks. So working with so many startups and scale-ups, you could have been doing so many different things within the economy, but why choose this focus?
Well, look at the world. If you look, for instance, to Silicon Valley, still more than 100 billion a year is invested in new technologies that will disrupt many sectors. Can you imagine maybe within this in 10, 15 years, no bankers, no accountants, or a completely new job? So
no politicians possibly?
No politicians, who knows? But anyway, it's clear that our society, not only economy, but society will change dramatically. And I think startups really fulfill a very important role. Why? Because they know that they have to come with solutions that are much better, 10 times better than the existing ones. And you see it at existing companies, sometimes they can also do that. But a lot of them really have problems to do it in a speed that is necessary to overcome these challenges. And most of the time, even we see at SMEs that they do not have always the technological skill, the digital skills to come with new solutions. So I think it's important also for the Flemish economy that we pay a lot of attention to startups and scale-ups.
Absolutely. The Flemish economy is one of the more innovative and advanced economies in the whole of the European region, right? So if we want to keep this place, we need to focus on innovation.
Yeah, for sure. You never may stand still, because then you go behind, of course. I think it's really important there that we keep on going on investing in innovation and in new entrepreneurs, but also in existing ones, because one of the main challenges also in Flanders is that we have to transform the existing SME landscape, which is a very important landscape in the economy, also towards new digital transformation. So and SMEs can help with this. You also say there that existing SMEs could link with startups, which can be a win-win, I think, in getting this transformation done. And that's also important, connecting companies between each other in the ecosystem.
It's interesting because most of the people we've had here have, mentioned something along the lines that it's invigorating, it's exciting, but you have a unique perspective that you're working with the startups as well as the corporates as well as the SMEs, and you're trying to link all three.
Yeah, we link all three, and above that even we link with the larger ecosystem, because we have a huge network between the knowledge centers, universities, high schools, but also other...
Oh yeah, you fund all of them. So.
Yeah, we fund all of them. Exactly. Yeah, indeed, we are the glue between all these
the money moves,
partners.
right? Money
for sure. And that's the reason also that we find this very important, because you can give money, but you also have to secure and facilitate a little bit that the network also gives a good return on investment. And the network partners all work for these companies, so it's important that they also strengthen them, each other.
You mentioned return of investment, right? But as a government giving subsidies and grants, as a government body giving subsidies and grants, what is your return of investment? How do you measure it?
Yeah, well, it's a very important question, I think, because there's also this always in discussion: should we give grants? Should we give, or do we have to use only fiscality and so on? But I think if grants indeed are measured towards a return on investment related to employment. So if a company comes for a grant, for instance, will also look, colleagues will always look to the business case. What's the potential for this business case related to investments, but also employment? And if you look to a region, of course, employment is very important, and this is the best way, I think, to measure return on investment.
I would have thought it would have been opportunity cost. That would be the single most important thing instead of return of investment.
Well, employment is only one factor. I think for a region it's also important. If you look to the challenges we have related to some different global trends, that we also, should I say, weapon ourselves to tackle these trends. So it's not only about economical employment and so on. It's also about moving forward as a society to make sure that our lifestyle will be the same within this and 10, 15 years. So employment, of course, is a very important aspect, but employment is only one thing. People can also be an entrepreneur, for instance. Everyone entrepreneur in the future, why not? So it's not only about employment itself, but about people getting connected to the society and working together to bring this society further in the future.
So from working together to building a society to working together to build a pirate ship. So we've got the next. VLAIO is a business accelerator that invests in innovative companies so that they can sell more and sell faster. Our program at VLAIO is quite straightforward. We provide funding, add it with the best partners so that you can multiply your sales. And there's no hassle of moving to our locations. If you're curious as to how we can work together, do reach out to us.